Tom versus Davis case number 37 on the calendar. Mr. Tom went to jail for a period of time. Defendant was a friend of yours. You asked her to watch your house and your dog correct and gave her a credit card to pay certain bills and expenses. Miss Davis has a counterclaim. She says that you should pay her for taking care of house and dog. Andrea Davis works as a janitor at the interstate rest stops. She calls herself a park ranger. And is that what she was doing in January when you went to jail at that time? She was unemployed and she supports herself. Yes, Andrea. So she was going to house sit for you and take care of your dog. It would be difficult for her to go out and look for another job. So what kind of arrangement did you make with her, Mr. Tom? Well, in my own mind. Your Honor, I don't care what's in your mind, we didn't. I don't. I'm willing to pay her $400 for a dog city. How much did she spend 1511? 32 cents. Do you know that that's what you spent every time I used his dad conversion to me? I'm not going through those bills. Those are the receipts. I gave. Receipts every cash advance that he listed. I used for my own personal use for $400. The rest of these are his expenses that he put on here to make look like I have used. Judge Judy continues in a moment, and later, today I had to leave work because I had found out I was pregnant, and he beat me up. Later today, she had to get posed for making unauthorized debit card charges while he was in jail. Now the ESAs are your bills to do me a favor. I can't see without my glasses, so I picked one randomly. It's like an unsighted person has picked that. Anissa Davis and Coda is suing her former living boyfriend's 23-year-old Joseph Grimm for breaking their apartment lease and filing a false restraining order. Grimm says that the reason the lease was broken on this apartment was because of you. So if you had to pay the landlord, that would be your problem. Grimm said he actually felt that he was threatened, and he's going to tell me why on Conky Anissa. Took care of, because she was the reason the lease was broken. If you hit her well. It wasn't. She had to move. It was mostly my fault. I'm not. I didn't understand that sentence, Mr. Grimm. That's what I didn't understand, Mr. Grimm said. Wonk, I would make you pay the whole thing. It's your fault. The lease was broken, but both our names are on the lease. I didn't care, dummy. That's why you're here, for me to make a determination of who's responsible for the lease being broken. Renee LeBlanc is suing the father of her child, 23-year-old Andrew Tremblay, for his share of child. Judge Judy is about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The people are real, the cases are real, and the ruins are final. This is Judge Judy. The defendant was your boyfriend. You have a child together, and it's your claim that he owes you for half of a loan that you individually took out. Mr. Tremblay says that he had every intention of paying you back his half because you had an agreement that I assume you would share expenses in the apartment. But then you moved out of the apartment, correct, so you breached the agreement. I put the chain on the door because it was a precaution, because you were going to sleep yourself, and you opened the door and let him in. Yes, immediately. Yes, oh fine. But what time about 1:30 in the morning he came in, and what happened next? He started arguing with me. No, he said to you. You said to him, tell me not arguing. Arguing is what you say happened. I told him that I was gonna call the police on him. Why would you leave the room? So where was I going to go? Well, where was he going home to his mother's house? Aren't you going to your mom's house? Because I have 2 babies. I'm not gonna truck them out. I'm trying to explain to you as we do not use from what you told me. Rune, remember. I asked you to tell me what he said, not the way. You felt not about the argument, and you said I called the police because he was in my face, and what you actually told me was he came home. You had put the chain on the door when he left because she had an argument. He came home and he apologized. He apologized for what happened. Miss LeBlanc says she went to the landlord, who was kind enough to shred the lease. That's what is that, what he did. I did not shred the lease. I didn't even see the other lease that we had signed and agreed he had taken. I do not see him shred it. When did you sign a new lease? March 6, 2013, at the same place. Cynthia Anderson is suing her ex-boyfriend Tyrone Hubbard for an unpaid loan to fix his car and for defamation of character. Order, all rise. Foreign versus Hubbard. Judge Judy is about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is Judge Judy Cynthia Anderson. Your former boyfriend, and it is your claim that you made a loan to him, as a matter of fact. 2 loans, $700 loan for a car, and then another $140 loan for another $140. The second part of your lawsuit is that after there was an unpleasant breakup, Mr. Hubbard sent some nasty emails to your employer. Mr. Hubbard wants to be compensated for the embarrassment that you suffered as a result of those communications. Mr. Hubbard says he does not care whether you get where I'm going or not. If you have a girlfriend with whom you have an intimate relationship, and she goes with you because you're a guy and car salesmen sometimes deal better with a guy than they do with a woman that's not necessarily so in the case. Of all women, I happen to do reasonably well in negotiations. However, I can understand Miss Anderson wanting to rely on you, your girth, and your charisma in dealing with a car salesman and saving her some money. Cynthia Anderson claims ex-boyfriend Tyrone Hubbard borrowed money to fix his car and has never paid it back. Cynthia also claims Tyrone slandered her in an email he sent to her job. Judge Judy says there is no obligation for, if you give somebody something, you can't take it back. There's no law against that. Don't ask me any questions. Tyrone Hubbard says he is embarrassed that his boss is harassing him at work. He says she should have sued you, right, gotten a judgment, and then executed on the judgment with your boss, Mr. Hubbard. Tyrone says he will hopefully have it taken care of soon. I assume your address will be on the papers when I get them that way. Christopher Swenson is suing his ex-boyfriend, 19-year-old Joshua Davis, for unpaid cell phone charges and for harassment. Mr. Davis says that he covered your rent for a portion of the month when you were unable to do that, and it was a sort of a quid pro quo for the phone bill. Is that correct, Mr. Swenson? The couple agreed to split a cell phone bill when the chances are 6 months from now you will not be together or won't like each other. Not a small thing to do, right? We agreed that he would pay $110 and then I would pay $110. The first month went by. I did not receive anything. I made arrangements with the cell phone company that I would actually make payments throughout the month. Now, at the time, you were still a couple. Holly is suing her former friend Eric Fortner for an unpaid loan to buy an iPod. Claims the iPod was a Christmas gift order. All rise. Now it's case number 103 on the calendar in the matter of Vuz. Ye versus Fortner parties have been sworn in. Mr. Fortner says that the iPod was a gift from you to him, so that he could give the gift to his children. That there was never any discussion or an agreement to pay you $300 that you paid for the iPod, and in addition, he says that you threw a hissy fit, slashed his tires, and slandered him on the internet, so he's got a counter plan. That's right. Miss White told me, Eric, I cannot do this no more. Do what our friendship owe. I thought you left her because you were grieving, you know. She told me that she didn't want to be with me no more. I said, okay, now I gotta go ahead. A week later, she saw me with love of my life and she went berserk, right. She said, I want to slash your tires. I'm gonna hurt you. I did not see her slash the tires. I called the police but nobody observed the planes of slashing your tires.